Okay, so thank you, everyone who has submitted the assignment. I've received quite a few. Honestly, I haven't had a deep look at it yet, but I will probably after 2 weeks or something. Only few devotees are left, which is fine. I hope their assignments will be coming soon. So let's start. So 2 weeks before, we had finished chapter 1. I think last time we started from chapter 1, shloka 139. So we'll just do a quick repeat. And then as Sonia Mataji suggested last time, that we'll do a quick summary of the chapter 1. And I hope you all have written some points for what's the important takeaway points for chapter 1. So we'll look into that and then we'll start.
What are the important takeaway points, Kani?
Sorry. Hare Krishna, Amar Prabhu.
Amar Prabhuji, you are on mute. You are unmuted, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I can see beautiful darshan of Radha Gopinath, but not you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Sorry, you said something, I couldn't get that.
No, I said bring the book and the points for the taking away points for the chapter 1, Prabhu.
He's asking, telling me to grab everything, Prabhu. Sorry.
Okay. Actually, he's not wrong because there are so many. So in one sense, but anyway, we can just say a few things which we like to remember and apply in our life as much as possible. Okay, so let's start from 139. So this time we can start from backwards. Daya Sindhu Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Would you like to say a few points about verse 139? You can read the translation and just say a few points. Which we
With the destruction of the dynasty, the eternal family tradition is vanquished, and thus the rest of the family becomes involved in a religion. Okay, Prabhu, I would also like to read the purport if that's okay.
Okay, Prabhu, it's a short one.
Yes, yeah. In the system of Varnashrama institution, there are many principles of religious traditions to help members of the family grow properly and attain spiritual values. The elder members are responsible for such purifying process in the family, beginning from birth and death. But on the death of the elder members, such family traditions of purification may stop, and the remaining younger family members may develop a religious habit and therefore lose their chance for spiritual salvation. Therefore, for no purpose should the elder members of the family be slain. So essentially, Prabhu Arjuna is he's got that feel that if the elder members of the family are killed, or if they vanish, in that case, the next generation, the entire family tradition would get lost. That's my take on it, Prabhuji. Yeah.
Yep. Thank you, Prabhuji. Anyone else would like to add something? Okay, one point which I think I mentioned last time, it says Kul Dharma Sanatanaha. Anyone would like to explain the word Sanatan here?
Kul Dharma Sanatana means, the Sanatan means for eternal, forever. It's been going on for a long time.
Yes. So we should not take the literal translation here. Sanatan usually means eternal, but Kul Dharma, no Kul Dharma will be eternal. Only Jaiva Dharma, the Dharma of the soul, is eternal. Everything else is temporary. But what it means here is running for a long time. Thank you, Amar Prabhu. Next one, 140. We have Rasanand Prabhu and Vijay Gopi Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Are you able to say a few things about one?
Hare Krishna, but your audio is little not loud, Prabhu. Probably it's too noisy here.
Okay. I think it's noisy on your side. If you're not able to say that's okay, Prabhuji, it's fine.
Yeah, we are just moving to another room so that the noise is little less.
Okay, when you're settled, you can let us know. That's fine. 581197. Not sure who that would be. Also, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu, it's me. Yes,
Are
yes.
you-
Just 1 second. Let me change it.
That's all right. That's okay, Prabhuji. You can change it a little later. I identified the photo.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Mahavasu Prabhu, if you like to say
140.
Prabhuji, I can start with that, and next one
you
you can
start. I think we are devotees still settling. That's all right.
I can start.
Yes, Prabhuji. Naman Prabhu. And everyone else can go on mute. That will be nice. Thank you.
According to my understanding of this verse, what Arjuna is saying is that
Hare Krishna. Naman Prabhu. Sorry, can we read the translation of Prabhupada? It's
Sure.
fine.
When irreligiosity is prominent in the family, O Krishna, the woman of the family becomes polluted, and from the degradation of the womanhood, O descendant of Krishna, comes unwanted progeny. And my taking out of this verse is connected to the last verse, where because of the fight, all the elderly people or the people who are in the war would die, and the women would be there without any direction from the elder people or the family heads, and they will go into the wrong direction and get polluted, and through that going through the wrong direction, they might go into the wrong people, and they might give a birth to all the unwanted progenies and give a population to unwanted people.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Would you like to add what is the Sankhya unwanted progeny? We discussed about this last time.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Vijay Mataji.
Yes, Prabhu, you said unwanted progeny means the children, those who do not have a proper consciousness, they are considered to be unwanted progeny.
Yeah. So in the Vedic culture, parents were so powerful, the Brahmanas were so powerful, they will bring the progeny as they like to bring. Like if the Brahman would like to bring a Brahman son, he can do that. And sometimes, I think I discussed one example of the grandfather of Parashuram, the father of Jamdagni Rishi. So he wanted to bring a Brahman child, but it happened other way. So his wife drank the water, the prasad of the yajna, which was supposed to be for the mother-in-law, and mother-in-law drank the other one. So their kids were modified in nature in that way. So what we are saying here, unwanted progeny here refers to not only like when the kids are born, when parents didn't want the kids, not like that. The consciousness of the kids is not as per the desired consciousness, because previously everyone's consciousness was so high. Nowadays, everyone is mixed up. So we don't know who is of which varna, but that time the varna was pretty clear. And that's why sometimes in India, they say there's a caste system. Actually, it's not a caste system. That time Brahman sons mostly will be a Brahman. Kshatriya's son will mostly be a Kshatriya. So based on that, and slowly, obviously, it got pretty much diverted. It just became based on birth, but Vedic culture is not based on birth. It's based on qualities. But mostly that time, the sons and the daughters were having the same qualities as the parents, like Brahmanas or Kshatriyas. But later on, it got distorted and it became literally a caste system, which is at present in India and in other parts of the world as well, which is not very nice. So Krishna always says Chaturvarnya Maya system, Guna Karma Vibhagasha. It's based on Guna and Karma, not based on Janma. But that time, mostly the Janma was as per Guna and Karma. So it got into that direction. Okay, move to the next one. 41. Karishka Mataji. I'm just taking one by one as on the screen.
An increase of unwanted population certainly causes hellish life both for the family and for those who destroy the family tradition. The ancestors of such corrupt families fall down because the performance for offering them food and water are entirely stopped. So my takeaway from this is that once they have passed on, etc., and we stop doing the offerings each year or what have you on their death anniversaries, they also fall down, and those things start to destroy the family and the religion and the consciousness of the family, and the unwanted circumstances of, whether it could be warfare or just living in squalor, those things will start to happen to family.
Thank you, Mataji. So basically, one more point which I remember we discussed. So Arjuna is not only talking about the future generations, also talking about the past generations. He's talking about present, past, and future. So he's such a nice person. He's thinking about all the aspects before doing anything. It says when we say something, we should think 3 times before we say something, and when we do something, we should think a lot before doing it. So we can see Arjuna is such a high character person. Before doing something, is not blinded by lobha, by greed, or by any sort of enjoying mentality. He's thinking, although he's there present for the war, he's a Kshatriya, he's quite capable, but still he's thinking, can we avoid something? Before war also they tried, while the war is there, still thinking, and they're thinking about all the possible aspects which will be disrupted by this war. So past, present, and future. So that's why this education of our Vedic culture is so important. It gives us that vision. Otherwise, people are so short-sighted. What's in for me right now? Not even for the future. If I like to enjoy something right now, let me just get it. By hook or by crook, it doesn't matter. But Arjuna is displaying the very high characteristics of this sort of high person. Also, in this purport, Prabhupada is mentioning a verse which we discussed last time. So we discussed there are 6 types of debts. Someone can tell what are the 6 types of debts?
There is Devrin, then Pitrarin, then Rajarin. I'm sorry, I mean Rastrarin. I mean, I don't know.
Let's go one by one, Prabhuji. It's on the screen. Deva is Devatas, demigods. How we have the debt from them? Like Mother Nature is providing a place for us to sit. She's providing us all the food, grains, everything. We sit on her. If she isn't there, Varun Devata is providing us rain. Sun God is providing us sun. Moon God. All these demigods, which are in charge of their own departments, are helping us every single moment. If the Pavan Devata is not happy, we cannot breathe. And we see that in the incident of Hanumanji. So Devatas, we have read for the Rishis. What sort of rin, what sort of debt we have for the Rishis?
We got the scriptures from them.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So Vyasadeva, if he had not written the Bhagavad Gita, will not be reading this. Vyasadeva, by being so merciful, he has written this. Bhuta. Bhuta refers to Jivas. Jivas in general. The Jivas in general refers to all the Jivas which help us to survive or sustain in our present life. For example, you can understand from an example of a village. In villages, the cows and bulls were so important for a farmer. If the cows and bulls were not there, they will not be able to survive. If the trees were not present, they will not be able to survive, even scientifically. So many things we get from different Jivas. They help us to live. Apta. Our relatives. If the relatives are not there, again, we'll not be sitting here. Nirnam. Nirnam means human beings. So Bhuta refers to all the living entities. Nirnam refers to the human beings. And then we have Pitras. Pitras means the ancestor. We say by pride, I'm a Brahman, I'm a Kshatriya, I belong to Kashyapa Gotra, or this Gotra, or that Gotra. My father was a king, or my grandfather was a king. All these things. So Pitras, they have established the seed for us. Without their seed, we will not be here, or will not be here in this form. So all these 6 categories we have a debt to. So how do we give this debt back in general? So Devas, how do we give the debt back to this Devas? Pinaki Prabhu, you ready to say something?
I was just wondering, Prabhu, is the debt to the Guru taken as part of the ones with the sages, or how does it work?
Yes, so Rishi and sages, I will say, Guru and Sadhu come in the same category, because they guide us spiritually. Here's all the scriptures and all the guidance come from them. So like rishi. And sometimes you see in the past there were rishis who were guru, like Vashishta Rishi, Vishwamitra Rishi, they were Narad Rishi. So all these are there, which are guru.
Okay, thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you. So how do we give the debt back to Devas, to demigods? Rupam Prabhu? So there's a process for everyone, and then we look at process for a person who is a devotee. So Devas is, we do yajna for the Devdas.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
Prabhu, I think when we offer water and other, like as you said, yajnas, when we offer food and different ingredients within the yajnas, it automatically goes to Devtas and they get nourished.
Yeah. And there was prescribed yajnas for Brahmanas every day twice. Agnihotri. We have a surname in India, Agnihotri. I'm not sure how many.
Vivek Agnihotri. Yeah.
Vivek Agnihotri, to be very honest. I know Agnihotri is a surname because I'm from North and there are many Agnihotris there. So Agnihotri was one who is doing Hotra, the yajna of Agni, twice a day. Now, if you ask many Agnihotris, wouldn't even know what does the Agnihotri word mean. We had Chaturvedis, we had Trivedis, we had Tiwaris. Everything had a meaning, specific, and that was based on their karma. Nowadays, no one knows those meanings. Anyway, so Bhuta, we do a lot of things for the Bhuta. Sometimes you see some families leave some grains for some birds, some water. Prabhupada father used to leave some grains in the middle of his shop for the rats, if you remember. That's in Prabhupada Lilamrita. So many times we give a chapati to the cow. The first chapati, when you cook in the house, that goes to the cow. And that was the tradition I also followed. I'm sure many of you would have followed. And the last chapati goes to dog. The middle one, family members. Now the first and the last, everyone goes to the family. We are losing the concept of giving to others. But Vedic culture was based on giving, giving, and giving. So we do many activities. Sometimes we dig the well for general living entities because someone has digged a well for us. Nirdan Pitras, we do this Shraddha ceremony, for example, and we do many other things for our ancestors as well. So all these things are actually very, very important. And Prabhupada is mentioning that it's a Bhagavatam verse 11.541. But Sarvatmanaya Sharanam Sharanyam Gato Mukundam Parihritam. But one who has taken 100% full shelter of Krishna, Mukunda, he is not obliged to repay these debts because Krishna will take care of it. Someone has become brahmachari, has become a sannyasi at an early age. He has left his parents, his brothers, and all the rishis and jivas. So Krishna will take care of it. He doesn't have to do anything separate for them to repay his debt. So, but only for that person who has taken 100% shelter of Krishna. If you're in the middle, you still have the debt. So don't think I'm out of the debt because I'm an initiated devotee. This is nice, but it may not be the complete picture. So we have to follow as much as possible. Anyway, in general, devotees are always having this giving mentality. Every time they want to give, not only to these categories, to everyone. They want to give to everyone. They don't want to take anything. So general mentality of a devotee is like that. And when it becomes completely mature, Krishna takes care of them. Krishna takes care of them. Okay, we'll move to the next one. I want to finish this chapter quickly and then move to chapter 2.
Prabhu, just one question. Don't we have debt towards the motherland, which is actually supplying us everything? Because I think there is something in Bhagavatam which says that we actually are indebted to the motherland. She's giving everything to us. And what do we do in return?
As far as I remember, there's a verse in Ramayana, and Lord Ram says that. Janni Sarvadapi Gariyase. Lord Ram says that in Valmiki Ramayana. Janni and Janmubhumi. So that's covered under Devas, Prabhuji. So Devas, Devata, Prithvi already covered there. And Krishna will talk about it as well. How do you fit into that category of giving this debt back? It's already in chapter 12. We'll talk about it when we go there. Krishna gives a sort of a category and a hierarchy. Which hierarchy you fit in, you follow that. So giving these debts back, as you said, to our Janmabhoomi is also mentioned actually, but it's in the third category. It's not the top category, but it's there. So if you're in the top category, example our acharyas give, if you have In India, I think there's a 2,000 rupee note, if I'm not wrong. Huh? So if you have a 2,000 rupee note, and do I need to ask, Prabhu, do you have 10 rupees? Do you have 5 rupees? 2,000 rupee note already includes many 10s and many 5 rupees notes. Huh? So if you already have a 2,000 rupee note, all these smaller notes are already covered in. So if you are serving Krishna, all these little things which do exist, 10 rupee note is a valid note, right? 5 rupee note is a valid note, 50 rupee note is a valid, it's already included in the 2,000 rupee notes. So the one which we are following at the moment, which is worshiping the Supreme Personality of Godhead, includes everything else in it. So we don't have to separately endeavor for those things. Huh? But if someone is not worshiping Krishna, then these debts apply on that person and he has some obligation towards them. Okay. Okay, 142. Who would like to say? Okay, Mataji.
Okay. In verse 42, by the evil deeds of those who destroy the family tradition and thus give rise to unwanted children, all kinds of community projects and family welfare activities are devastated. So in this, Arjuna is meaning that if all the elders of the family will be died in this war, then the family tradition would be died as well. And if all the males of the family would be died, then it would give rise to the unwanted children, because the women of the family might go into the wrong activities that would give rise to the unwanted children. And all kinds of community projects and family welfare activities are devastated as well. So everything will go all over the place, and all the pious activities will be stopped, and they will all go into the wrong way. With unwanted children, when they will be born, they would not know what is the right thing. And the main thing is the people will forget the aim of life, which is Vishnu, and that main purpose of life will be devastated as well.
Yeah. Thank you, Mataji. Very nice. So it's just continuation of the same thoughts. He's giving his social responsibility. As a king, as a Kshatriya, he's very well aware of what will happen to the social customs and social welfare if I don't do the right thing. Okay. Next one. If someone wants to add something anytime, please raise hand. We'll be happy to hear from you. 143, who has not spoken as yet. Vinay Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, would you like to say something about 143?
Yes, I just am reading now the translation. O Krishna, maintenance of the people, I had heard by displeasure that those whose family traditions are destroyed, they will always in hell. Okay. Arjuna says it's a parampara system, he knows the tradition of family, 43. He says the all are going to destroy if they not follow the spiritual tradition, in here they say the Arjuna he just tell like Krishna so just he tried to convince Krishna not to fight, so that's why he's just saying all of this his opinion.
Yeah.
That's I feel like.
Okay, thank you, Prabhuji. Just one important word which people look in this particular verse is Anushrama. Anushrama is very important. This one, what Arjuna is saying, he's saying, this is not my opinion, this is what I've heard from authorities. So Arjuna is not only just being a very socially responsible person, but that's his own opinion. I think I heard in some class I was listening, this Prabhuji was telling, in Hyderabad there is a person who looks after all the dogs in Hyderabad. So his whole welfare activity is based on the dogs. So he said, no dog should be hungry in my city, which is Hyderabad in this case. So he is doing social welfare activities, but which Shastra says that? Huh? I don't think any Shastra tells this sort of welfare activities, which he has taken as his life and soul, is recommended. What will be his consciousness? Just think about it. Even if all the dogs are fed, eventually, they will leave their dog body. And if they become human, we don't know. So rather than we should spend some time on those whom Krishna has given better facilities, say human beings, to become devotees, and then do these welfare activities as per Shastra. So Arjun is not just being socially responsible as per his own opinions. He's saying, I have heard this from authorities. So this is a very good lesson for us. We should also do the work as per our authorities, which is our Sadhu, Shastra, and Guru. And if we are aligned with them, then the welfare activity will definitely work. And we'll see the same point Arjun will raise in the next chapter 2.7, and Prabhupada also raised the same point, how we should be aligned with that authority. And everything else is very superficial otherwise. Thank you, Vinay Prabhu. And also it says, Narake Niyatam Vaso, which Arjun is saying you will reside in hell forever. But in Vedic culture, again, we don't have that concept of residing in hell forever. This is just he's saying, and we should not take it literally, you will reside in hell for a long time because you are responsible for that task. So he's taking that responsibility, and he is having this fear of sinful reactions which will come upon him. Okay, 144. Some devotees have just joined. Priya Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. You've gone on mute again. Would you like to say something about 144? Okay.
Sorry, Prabhuji. No, I'll pass on that one.
Okay, no problem. Nidhi Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. In this verse, Arjun is telling, saying that, I'm going to create such a great sin by killing my own relatives because, it's such a sinful act, just only to attain, a kingdom. So, yeah, Prabhu, that's about it.
That's correct. I'll just read the, Mataji, can you read the translation as well?
Yeah, sure. Alas, how strange it is that we are preparing to commit greatly sinful acts, driven by the desire to enjoy royal happiness. We are intent on killing our own kinsmen.
Thank you, Mataji. One more thing which I remember we discussed, Swajanam Udditaha. So Arjun has referred to this word earlier as well, and again he's referring. So what he is looking at these people as Swajan, they are my kinsmen, my relative. Again and again he's referring. And initially what he was referring to, Dhritarashtra said Durbuddher. So they are Durbuddhi. They are evil-minded sons of the Dhritarashtra. That's where he started. Now he's thinking, oh, Swajan. Swajan means even if they do some mistake, it's all right. They are my relatives, and my duty is to protect them, which is what Kul Dharma he is talking about. And why he is saying, Aho, but Mahat Papa means great sinful act. Devasata Vayam, I'm determined to do. For what? Rajya Sukha Lobhena. I'm greedy. He's not greedy, but he is saying like that. So, alas, how strange it is that we are preparing to commit a greatly sinful acts driven by the desire to enjoy royal happiness. We are intent to kill our own kinsmen. Okay, 145. We have Mohit Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Better for me if the son of Dhritarashtra, weapon in hand, were to kill me unarmed and unresisting on the battlefield. So Prabhu, here Arjuna is basically he's a symptom of soft-heartedness towards the towards the other party, because he's saying it's rather they kill me instead of me killing them. So he's being humble here. So this.
We can also pick up some Sanskrit words. Yadi mam apratikaram. So pratikar means to counteract. Apratikar means I will not counteract. Ashastram, because I will not have shastra. He says, no, I'm going to put my Gandiv down. Gandiv is slipping from my hand. Shastra Parnyaha. Shastra Parnaya. Pani means hand. Shastra means with weapons, hand with weapon. Who will have weapons in the hand? Dhartarashtra. Dhartarashtra, sons of Dhritarashtra will have weapons in their hand. I will not have weapons and I will not even resist it. And what they will do? Hanya. Hanya means they will kill me. Huh? Where they will kill me? Rane. Rane means in the battlefield. So even if I don't have any weapons, I'm not ready to fight. I'm not resisting. Even if they kill me in that situation, still I think Shemataram. Shemataram means that is better for me. So it's better for me to get killed unarmed, unresisting by the sons of the Dhritarashtra who will have the weapons in their hand. That's better rather than fighting with them and killing them. So Arjun is showing a lot of soft-heartedness here. It says in Vedic culture, the Kshatriyas only fight with an equal opponent. They should be equal, they should be armed, and they should be alert. So equal means a person who is capable of killing 10,000 people is on a chariot. He cannot fight with another person who doesn't have a chariot. Is like a little young kid. They can't fight. They don't have weapons. They both should have equal weapons and both should be alert. So unless these codes are followed, Kshatriya will not fight. You remember in the incident of Ashwatthama, Ashwatthama was running after killing Draupadi's son and all that. Arjun was running behind him. When Ashwatthama horses got tired, Ashwatthama started running. Arjun's horses were not tired. Still, Arjun got out of the chariot and running behind. When I saw that first time in BR chapter Mahabharata, I was like, first catch him, don't run. But this is the rule. And Arjun was following the rule. He said, my enemy is running, I have to run as well. What a great people they were. What a great people they were. They will never attack without the weapon. Bhishma is not going to fight with a soldier who's on foot. So he's just too big. He's just too big person. So very nice. And he's saying, even if they kill me in that situation, which they should not, but I think that's even better. Okay, last verse of the first chapter. We have Sakhi Radhika Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Sanjay said, Arjuna, having thus spoken on the battlefield, cast aside his bow and arrows and sat down on the chariot, his mind overwhelmed with grief. So here, finally, after sharing his heart, after telling everything in his heart to Krishna, he seeing the situation of the enemy, Arjuna, it is said, Upavishat sat down again, like he sat down previously, and now he got up in between, like seeing both the sides, and again he sat down because of the grief. And in the purport, Prabhupada writes that such a kind and soft-hearted person in the devotional service of the Lord is fit to receive self-knowledge. So I really could relate to this, that devotees are not so comfortable fighting. Yeah. And therefore, since their heart is soft, so now in the upcoming chapters, Krishna will give him knowledge, like fit to receive self-knowledge. I really like this last line here.
Yeah. Thank you, Mother. It's very nice, actually. Prabhupada is appreciating Arjun's character. And Prabhupada says, because he's a devotee, he's a soft-hearted. He has tried not to fight beforehand. Even now, he has this consciousness. And as we saw in 145, he's even ready to get killed by the other party. And he's saying, I don't want to fight. So very nice devotional characteristics of Arjun is being exhibited towards the end of this chapter. I saw a hand from Rasanand Prabhu. Like to add something? Hare Krishna Prabhu, Rasanand Prabhu. Okay, we're not able to hear you, Prabhu. Maybe you can tell us later. So this sort of finishes the first chapter where Sanjay Vacha, obviously we are seeing Sanjay is speaking. So Arjun has basically sat down, he's overwhelmed with grief. and he's just sitting there. So that's where we stop. Now, before we go to the next chapter, if someone wants to ask any question related to chapter 1, I can answer that.
Prabhu, I have a question on this,
Yes.
especially on the last word,
Yes.
which says the soft-heartedness, right? Just out of the context, not going to Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna is in front of Arjun and is actually yoga. That is obviously is under Yoga Maya, right? But on a practical sense, right? If this happens to someone who is very soft-hearted, right? Does it really mean that he is eligible for self-realization?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Because then actually it is, if you go to the further chapter, Krishna says is as Hridaya Dorbalya.
Yes.
So then how does it actually make sense when Krishna, after listening to all this, he says that it's Hridaya Dorbalyam, and now here we are talking about he being the right person to receive the devotional service. So it does not make sense, because in this world everyone is Hridaya Dorbalyam. So not everyone is a devotee, not everyone is going to take the knowledge of self-realization. So I'm sorry, it's a very contradicting question, but I'm asking on a practical ground. Forget about Krishna and Bhagavad Gita. How we explain it to a practical person?
Okay, we can't forget Krishna and Bhagavad Gita, but the question is very nice, Prabhuji. So I'll just repeat the question if I understood correctly. So here Prabhupada says, Arjun is very kind and soft-hearted person. He is fit to receive the self-knowledge. Very nice quality of Arjun, Prabhupada is writing, and we can see as well, and we can appreciate it. But in the second chapter, which we'll talk in some time, Krishna is saying this is Shudra Hidar Dalbrim. Prabhuji, can I answer this question when I reach there? Because that will be more appropriate.
Sure, Prabhu, please.
Contradictions together. So we have read this, we understood. Just after 2 or 3 verses, that verse is coming. But it's not a contradiction. Prabhupada writes that very clearly. But it's a very nice question. Very, very nice question. Everyone understood the question? So one time, Prabhupada appreciating the quality of Arjun, and the next time, Prabhupada as well as Krishna will chastise Arjun. What is this? And that's where we have to deeply understand Bhagavad Gita. And that's why normal person sometimes get confused about the message of Bhagavad Gita. But it's very, very clear. We'll answer your question after 3 verses, Prabhuji, okay?
Thank you.
But it's coming, Prabhu. It's in the verse itself. What you're asking, it's in the verse itself. Huh? We'll answer there. Anyone wanted to say 1 or 2 key points of chapter 1? I'll give it to Sonia Mataji if she wants to go.
Sure, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, my takeaway point from here is we should try to be like Arjuna and try to be fully dependent on Krishna. And just the way Arjuna was seeking guidance from Krishna and clearing all his doubts for each and everything, and he had full faith in Krishna. He left all his family members. He just did as Krishna guided him. So we should have that faith in Krishna as well, and keep Krishna in the center and try to do everything for Krishna. That's what.
Thank you, Mataji. Mataji actually very nicely summarized the whole Bhagavad Gita takeaway point. Very nice, Mataji. If we have got that point, then that's it. There's nothing else needs to be learned. Thank you. Anyone else has something to say? I have one point to say, which we can again apply in our life, including myself. But I would like to listen from you first.
Yes, Prabhuji, one point is following the scriptures and through the disciplic succession. So that was that I just picked with the 42, 43, 41 verse, I think. Yeah. Yes. So yeah, Sushrumana.
And on that point, Mataji, we can also add visionary. Devotee is always a vision. Devotee is just not looking at the current, he's looking at the past, present, and future.
Yes.
Also, Arjun has used the word Shreya. We discussed Shreya and Preya. Preya means what we like right now. This sweet is very nice, but I may have diabetes. So I shouldn't be taking, too much sweets, because I know Shreya is very good. I can have ice creams and sweets and whatnot, but tomorrow morning my sugar level will be up, my cholesterol level will be up, or a long-term future. So a devotee is very, very visionary, and that's why he's very tolerant. He's just not baffled with the current situation. He's always thinking about the future, and obviously a devotee's future is to achieve Krishna Prema, and he does everything backwards, not the forward. Okay. One more important point which our acharyas say. Okay, someone else was saying something.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. I don't think, I'm not going, I don't know if this is a key point also, but just like it, the first chapter, most importantly, Krishna is listening. So he's not spoken yet. So the whole first chapter is Arjuna is speaking and Krishna is listening. So I guess being receptive, and one should always first listen.
Yes.
Like, to the, when Krishna is just listening to everything that Krishna has to say, so that being a receptive listener.
Yep, thank you, Mata. It's a very, very nice point. And generally what we are very active speaker. We listen less, we speak more. But some devotee was telling in a class very nicely, he said, Krishna has given us 2 ears and 1 mouth. That means we should hear at least double than what we speak, not the other way. Many times, we start speaking without even understanding the person or their situation. You speak, but here Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, very nicely, submissively, he's not only hearing Arjun, he's following Arjun. Arjun said, take my chariot, I want to see. Krishna did not ask any question. You ordering me? No, he is playing the role of a chariot driver. He's following that role. Yeah, very nice point, Mataji. I see a couple of other hands. I'm Rupam Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. One thing I would like to add on top of what you all have discussed is Prabhupada is giving us the qualities of an ideal devotee through the questions and his purport across the way Arjun is asking questions, the way he's saying that I don't want to fight because of XYZ reasons.
Yes.
Also, the qualities of Arjuna are like, even though he's a Kshatriya and a very great fighter, still the way he's showing that he doesn't have any greed, he doesn't want the kingdom, absolutely, complete submissiveness.
Yeah.
And also the fact that, as you mentioned, that he's not only thinking about the present, but he also has that ability to think 10 steps ahead about the future and also the past, and also not limited to himself or his kingdom, but also humanity in at large.
Yep.
So some of the qualities, and also in one of the areas we have seen, he talks about Narke Niyatam Vaso, so that he knew the concept of soul to a certain extent, that you're not a body, you're a soul. After dying, you will go somewhere, and if you do bad things, you will live there forever. Although it wasn't 100%, but
Yep.
Still he showed his intelligence,
Yep.
his sagacity in this.
Yeah, definitely. Very nice. We have Amar Prabhu and Kanishka Mataji's hand.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. One thing I learned out of this is how the Arjun is explaining. Yes, he's giving the explanation of why he shouldn't fight. But if we go deeper in there, he's actually telling everything that as a human or as a righteous person, you should be doing all of those things. Thinking about the future of the generation and everything. Now, if I go through all of these verses, you can see that it's all these things are already happening in this world today. Nobody gives anything about the offering to the ancestors. Nobody is worried about the ancestors are falling, and based on that, the people are going in the wrong direction. The womanhood is going in a wrong direction as well. So all this is already happening in Kali Yuga. What actually Arjuna is asking in the first chapter itself is opening the eyes to us, saying that he's asking the right questions for us to live in the future.
Yep. That gives a point of meditation. We can meditate what's happening around us, what's happening with us. You're saying no one is worried about ancestors. Forget ancestors, Prabhu. We're not even worried about our current family members.
Yes.
Ancestors are too far.
Yes.
What
I'm saying. He has opened the eyes right in the first chapter itself. If somebody wants to see it, you can see it straight away that this is all the things are happening. What he's talking that in those days that it will happen is already happening now. It's just a matter of somebody opening the eyes and see the first chapter. Automatically, you'll be drawn to Bhagavad Gita to see that, hey, he's talking something is happening now today, and we should follow what he's going to say in the future. And who's guiding it is Krishna.
Yeah, and that's how Krishna gives him the knowledge, because he's so qualified person. He's so nice person. Thank you, Prabhu. We have a couple of other hands. Rasan and Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, sorry, Guru. Prabhu, I'm seeing it little differently. I'm seeing it both Duryodhana and Arjuna were on the same side, looking at the materialistic point of view. In fact, if you see Duryodhana, he is looking at the size of the army and the strength of the army and the strength of his people and comparing with the opposition. And similarly, Arjuna is looking for the reasons not to fight. In fact, all these reasons not to fight are mostly seen from the materialistic point of view. You know, he's trying to cover up these reasons with this Vedic injunctions and trying to give. Only thing he had was he was more submissive to Krishna. That's the only thing we find in the chapter 1 difference between Arjuna and Duryodhana. That's from my understanding.
Yes, Prabhu is looking for a devotional point. Yes, Prabhuji and Prabhupada will clarify this in 2.2, and the similar question also Prabhu has asked earlier, which we're going to respond. That is also correct. Arjun is looking from a different perspective, but again, we can appreciate it at that level. At that level of humanity, what he's saying is correct. Obviously, it's not on the spiritual platform, and that's where we will dive into chapter 2. But at material level, you see Duryodhana is being so greedy, he's not looking at anything else except, fighting and bigger army. But Arjun is looking from a very different perspective. He's very soft-hearted. He's worried about everyone around, and then he's presenting his opinion in a very submissive way to Krishna. No, good point, Sanat Prabhuji.
Thank you. Vijay Gopi wants to add one.
Yes, please, Prabhu.
Prabhu, like I'm saying that here Arjuna is expressing whatever he is thinking. He's just not hiding because just Krishna wants him to fight. He doesn't want to hide his doubts and all. There is no duplicity. He's just expressing his heart to Krishna. These are my doubts. So I'm having a takeaway from this is like devotee should be like that. You just cannot hide whatever is in our heart. Just putting a face, nice face, enough mask against outside, and then inside we have all the, impurities and other things. Here, Arjuna is openly expressing what are his doubts. So this is like a devotee. We should have that simplicity of, being inside and outside. We should be the same.
It says in Shastra, if you hide your heart or your disease, heart from the guru and disease from the doctor, you'll not get cured. If you hide your disease from doctor, he can't cure you. You only tell him half the symptoms. You'll not tell the full symptoms. You're hiding. You're too shy. Then your disease will not be cured. And if you hide your problems, like the struggles which you're facing from your guru, from your spiritual master, then your spiritual master, in one sense, they know, but they want you to sort of confess that, Maharaj, I have this weakness. I'm struggling with this. Guru Maharaj many times says, we are all weak devotees. We are not strong devotees. But how do you become from weak to strong? First point, Maharaj says, you need to accept that you are weak. If you start, I'm such a great athlete, I'm such a great runner. You may not be able to run, 500 meters, but you accept from the very beginning, I'm a great athlete. You'll never become a great athlete. But at least he said the first thing is acceptance, and that is called humility. Humility is not something, he said, you fold your hand and put a Fevicol in the middle. I'm very humble, I'm very humble. He said, that's not humility. Humility means honesty, and honesty means I'm not such a great devotee. I'm a struggling sadhaka, I'm a struggling devotee. I like this, but I'm not able to follow everything. And that's where we're seeking blessings of Vaishnavas. That please bless me so I can start following those things. I can internalize those principles, which I've been reading for a long time. So thank you, Mataji, Vijay Gopi Mataji. Very nice point. Okay, we'll take last one. Sakhi Radhika Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Prabhu, I have a small question as well. First, I'll just take the takeaway. Similar to Vijay Gopi Mataji, I just felt while reading the first chapter that Arjuna was in confidence with the Lord. That's why he could share his heart as it is, and that can come to us by reading Shastras, that how Krishna is so non-judgmental. And also, you can correct me, but I just felt that somebody is judgmental when they don't know the past, present, future. They don't know anything, so they judge according to the facts. But since Krishna knows everything, he doesn't judge. So when we go and say that Krishna, this is the problem, this is what I'm feeling, every day when we take darshan, and we can just share our heart to the Lord, remembering Arjuna's mood, it becomes we can seek some real shelter, being honest to the Lord, because we somewhere can see from Bhagavad Gita that Krishna is the most non-judgmental person. So that's what I felt, because the confidence is there. Arjuna had. And the Prabhu, I just had the question from text number 46. Why does it say like Shoka Samvigna Manasa? Like here Prabhupada is saying that he is soft-hearted, but his mind overwhelmed with grief. That means like heart and mind, like he's thinking, and that's why he is aggrieved, like he's in grief, but his heart is like, how do I understand?
Sorry, Mataji, can you repeat your question again?
In the last shloka, it is said that his mind is overwhelmed with grief.
Yes.
So he's thinking all this, that's why, but is he feeling? Because thinking and feeling are two different things. So how to understand?
Thank you. So our feeling starts from our thinking. So anything, first thing we start from thinking, and then says second is willing, and then feeling. So suppose I'll give you a very simple example. You want to buy a dress or a house or a car or whatever, you know. So first you think about that car. Oh, that car looks so nice. Maybe it's very suitable for me, whatever, right? And then you will about it. Will means, do I have enough budget for it? Do I have a car parking for it? Whatever the situations are needed to fulfill. And then you start feeling about it. Actually, you know, I can afford the car. Huh? This looks nice. My parents like it. My family likes it, or whatever. And then you want to get into that. So first thing is you start from thinking. You start from dhyate vishayan punsha sangasya supajayate, 262. So you start from dhyate, thinking. And when your thinking comes into heart, you want it or you don't want it. Sometimes you hate something. I hate you. Why? It starts from your mind, right? The person hasn't done anything. For example, you just misunderstanding. You hate something or you like someone based on your mind. And someone clarifies that, oh, I'm so sorry, Prabhu. You know, I didn't think that way. Something. So it starts from here. It says that's why our thought should be very, very clear, because it says thoughts becomes our words. And words become our action, our actions become our habit becomes our character, and the character makes our destiny. So all the things start from the mind, and that's why our Vedic culture is constantly pushing us to have good thinking. When Dhruv Maharaj went to his mother, the first thing mother told her, Suniti, that do not think bad. Mam amangaltat, do not think bad about your stepmother. The first thing she told, your thoughts should be clear. Once your mind is unclear, if your mind is unclear, you're being very unproductive. Actually, your mind is filled with the anxiety for about something. Can you be productive in that stage? No. A similar thing is happening to Arjun. His physical strength is not reduced, but because his mind is overwhelmed with grief, what is happening? His mind and heart is getting shown externally as well. A little example: when you go for an interview, what happens? Your hand feels like cold. Sometimes you give a class and you have butterflies in your tummy. Oh, so many people sitting and listening to me, you know. So all these things happen. Where does it start? From the mind. In the mind, so it starts from a physical. It starts exhibiting on a physical status as well. And you'll see when you are in sort of anger mode, you breathe very heavily. I will see you. So your breathing gets impacted just by your thinking. If you are stressed, actually you breathe very slowly. So everything relates to the mind. It says sometimes, I was reading some article I heard, I can't remember, but it says if you're too angry, just one example, some sort of chemical gets released from your brain, and that sort of chemical has the ability to cause cancer in the person. So just one example, there can be multiple. So whatever your nature is, it impacts your physiques as well. So it says Vyadi means disease, comes from Adi tension, thoughts. So if you're thinking too much negatively, you will get diseases, negative diseases. So that's why you should be happy. And how do you be happy? It's not like some physical thing. When we read Shastra, when we are with Krishna, when we are with devotees, we feel actually light. It's okay. If some things are not going right, it's all right. It's not the end of the world. We do what we can do, and then Krishna will do what he thinks is best. So we have such a big shelter. That's why even the biggest thing goes wrong in our life, a devotee is not so much worried. His audience, Bhakti Rasamrita Maharaj, said very nicely. He gave one seminar probably 8 years ago in Sydney. And one of the very first lines he said, I'm just trying to represent probably similar words as Maharaj. He said, there's nothing too serious in the material world where we should become too serious about. There's nothing too serious. And similarly, there's nothing to be too excited about. I become the president of the whole world. So what? I lost my presidentship. So what? It's just temporary. It's so temporary. It's so temporary. Maharaj said you shouldn't be too serious or too excited about anything which is material. All you have to worry about, my Guru Maharaj said, what you have to worry about, it is your spiritual upliftment. How spiritually you are getting uplifted. So anyway, everything starts from mind and comes down to the our external physical level as well. Is it okay?
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you. I think we are done. One point I would like to add, again, I have read it in scriptures or commentaries. That's very nice. So it says the first chapter, one thing which we can see throughout, why did Arjun change from Durbuddhe Dhatrashtra to Sojan Uddetaha? Vision. Our vision is very, very important. What he saw changed his mind. And I think we discussed about this point many times. Krishna comes through ears and Maya comes through eyes. Not always. Krishna can also come from eyes, like we can have darshan of Krishna, we can meet devotees of Krishna, generally speaking. So it says, eyes means pratyaksha. Pratyaksha means what we see outside. Many times we see many things outside. It's called pratyaksha praman. We should not over-rely on pratyaksha, not over-rely. They are important. I see a gaddha, I see a hole. I will not drive over that, right? I will drive around it. That's important, but we should not over-rely, especially for the spiritual subject matters, where it relates to our heart or spirituality. We should not over-rely on pratyaksha, what we see. Where is God? Where is God? If we just keep questioning, God will never appear. So the way to make appear God is by becoming a devotee. Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj said, you should not try to see God. We should make yourself so eligible. God tries to see you. So it's other way. Many times they say, show me God. Where is the God? Is God your servant? He will just appear. So we should never over-rely on pratyaksha praman. They are important, but they have their validity in limited realm. What our eyes can see is very, very limited. I can only see till the wall. What's happening behind the wall, I have no capacity to see. So similarly, what we can see, what we can understand from our little brain is very, very tiny than the reality which exists around us, and the reality what we are actually. So we should always go towards Shabda Praman. Shabda Praman means Shastra. And Arjun is very nicely doing that. So he's looking at the pratyaksha, he's looking at what's around it, and it has impacted him. We can see there's a 180-degree change. But what is he doing right at this stage? He's going towards Shabda. Shabda means Krishna or Krishna Katha, Krishna Vani. We can see he's going towards Krishna and asking. Now you can say, I don't have Krishna. No problem. We have Krishna's representative. Even if representative is not present, we have Shastra. So if we go towards that, even we are bewildered, illusion, as we can see in this case of Arjuna, what will happen? We will get to the right result. What happens in the case of Kaikeyi? She looked at Pratyaksha, or she heard Pratyaksha, right? She over-relied on it. Whatever Mantra said, she accepted it. And what was the result? Complete damage, complete destruction, not only for her, for the whole family, practically speaking, right? So Arjun is showing that principle to all of us. So we see things around us, and many times we believe in, we give in that, and then we can't proceed in the life. Many times devotees struggle because of the absence of not looking at the Shastra. We should always revert back to the Shastra, back to the Shastra. The more we are aligned with Shastra, Sadhu, Shastra, and Guru, the better and happily we can live here, and happily we can get out of here. So this is a very, very important takeaway point for chapter 1. Okay, let's move forward in chapter 2. One more thing I wanted to share with all of you. I'm sure you have this document with you. And everyone can see my screen. Yeah, so we have this document which Sumit Prabhu had sent a few weeks ago. It's also on the Google Drive. So I'm just reading because someone may not be referring to this document, is very useful. So you can see the first part here, the preparation of the war. So we discussed about different armies and Duryodhana speaking to Dronacharya and all those things. Then we saw the second part, signs of victory, from 14 to 20, where we discussed about how Krishna is entering to the scene, how they're blowing the conch shell, what was the result of blowing the conch shell from one party to another party. Then we saw Krishna as Bhakta Vatsala, how Krishna is helping Arjuna in fulfilling his instruction, whatever Arjun gave on the battlefield. And then finally, in the last 18 verses or so, we saw Arjuna's doubts. How many doubts we saw of Arjuna so far? The total 5 we have seen so far, 4. And who can tell those 4 doubts? Someone who has recently joined. I can see Divya Mataji. Hare Krishna.
So, sorry, Prabhu, is it the reasons Arjuna had for not fighting?
Yes, Mataji.
So one was compassion. Second was enjoyment.
Yes.
Third was fear of sinful reaction.
Thank you.
And fourth was family tradition destruction.
Thank you, Mataji. Very nice. So these 4 reasons Arjun has given, and these are presented in these around 18 verses. Now we're moving towards chapter 2. So just before we start chapter 2, let's do a little introduction of the chapter 2. So now chapter 2, the Sanskrit name generally is called as Sankhya Yoga, but Prabhupada, as you see on the screen, is calling chapter 2 as contents of the Gita summarized. Now, how does these two relate? So Sankhya Yoga, I'm sure devotees know Sankhya Yoga. Sankhya means Sankhya, counting. Counting, we are doing counting of Sankhya. So this is a big topic in itself. I'll just say in summary. So we count the material element, and finally we reach to clear distinction between matter and spirit. This has been preached very nicely by Kapil Muni to Mother Devhuti. We see in the 3rd canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, there are around, if I'm not wrong, 15 chapters on it. Where constantly Mother Devhuti is asking questions and Kapil Muni is responding that, and eventually leading to devotional service is the best. So Sankhya refers to analysis between matter and spirit, which we'll see in this chapter. As you all know, I'm sure you have read Bhagavad Gita earlier, Krishna will start defining, you're not the body, you're the soul, right? So that's where it starts. That's why it's called Sankhya Yoga. But Bhaktivinoda Thakur had a little extra things covered in his title. And he said in this chapter, the whole gist of Bhagavad Gita is also given. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur called this chapter as contents of the Gita summarized, and Prabhupada followed the same naming convention of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and he gives the exact same name, contents of the Gita summarized, because this chapter does cover a lot of topics which are given in detail later chapters of Bhagavad Gita. Now, what are the topics covered? Let's look into this chapter 2. So I'm on page 17 of your PDF 5. So you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sections in this chapter. So first section is Arjuna's further doubts and surrender. So it says 1 to 10. So not all the verses 1 to 10 are spoken by Arjuna. This is by Sanjaya as well as Krishna as well. But around 5 verses are spoken by Arjuna. And in this, he will create one more situation, which is his indecision. He will create his, he will also submit himself to Krishna, and he will say, now you please give me instruction. We'll read about that in later verses. So Krishna basically gives 3 main themes in this chapter. He gives 4, but let's talk about the 3 first. So Jnana, Karma Kanta, and Buddhi Yoga. And Jnana is covering 11 to 30, which will talk about the knowledge of soul and the body. So soul is separate than the body. So he's saying if you're on a Jnana level, Jnana means you understand you're the soul, not the body. So you can fight. Why you can fight? Because you are never going to kill the soul, right? So if you're the soul, not the body, so your argument of compassion, like I'm very compassionate towards the body, right? But body is temporary, soul is eternal. You're never going to kill the soul. So on that level, he counteracts Arjuna's first argument, which was the compassion, in this section 11 to 30 of the 2nd chapter on the level of Jnana. Now Krishna picks up the 2nd level of Karma Kanda. If you're talking about Karma Kanda, the 2nd argument of Arjuna was, as Mataji said, enjoyment. I'm going to win the Rajya, the kingdom, and I'll enjoy with my relatives. And my relatives are gone, then how am I going to enjoy? So Krishna quotes, if you are a Kshatriya and you're following your prescribed duties, Kshatriya, if he is fighting on the battlefield for a right purpose, if he dies on the battlefield, actually he goes to Swargloka. So Krishna tells Arjuna, if you're fighting for the right purpose, which is the right purpose, even if you die, what will happen? You'll go to Swargloka. So even on the Karma Kanda perspective, where you're following your prescribed duties, you still get uplifted, isn't it? Then also you should fight. Third reason he presents Buddhi Yoga, or Prabhupada writes it, Nishkam Karma Yoga. We'll talk about it when we reach there. 39 to 53 is saying Nishkam Karma Yoga, as the word itself represent, does not produce any sinful reactions. So if you are doing akama karma, so karma have different categories. One is karma, one is vikarma, one is akarma. So if you are working on an akarma level, which is the Buddhi Yoga level, or Nishkam Karma Yoga level, if you're working on that level, whatever you do, even if you kill the whole world, it does not create any sinful reactions. So Arjuna's third doubt, which was fear of sinful reaction, is counteracted by Krishna in this particular section, which is Buddhi Yoga 39 to 53, where Arjuna is very fearful of the sinful reaction which he is going to have in future in his account. Krishna says, no, if you're working on a Buddhi Yoga level, you don't have to worry about it. Now, the fourth one was degradation of family traditions, or destruction of the family tradition. That Krishna will answer in the third chapter, actually. And the fifth argument of indecision, that will be answered actually by Arjuna himself in the 18th chapter. So these are the 5 arguments given by Arjuna and the 5 responses given by his teacher, Krishna. This is how it should work. So Arjuna has presented his heart, as Vijay Gopimatiji was saying. He has presented whatever in his heart. He has given 5 topics, and Krishna is going to respond to those 5 topics in this chapter. Now, the last section of the second chapter is when Krishna is talking about Buddhi Yoga, that he's saying you should be completely unattached. So in the 5th section, which is called Isthit Pragya, and he uses this word. So Arjuna is asking, you're talking about a person who is unattached. What are his characteristics? How does he walk? How does he sit? How does he roam around? So the last section of the second chapter is talking about Isthita Pragya. What are the symptoms of those persons who are Isthita Pragya, or who are working on an unattached level, on a Buddhi Yoga level? So this sort of quick summary of the second chapter. Okay. Any questions so far before we get inside? So you get a little gist of what's explained in the second chapter, and how's the title being given by Prabhupada. Okay, let's go to chapter 2, text 1. So again, so 146 was Sanjaya Vacha, and you see 2.1 still Sanjaya Vacha. So many times, camera has to zoom back. The action is explained by Sanjaya. So what's happening? So he said 146, Arjun is overwhelmed with grief. He is sitting on the chariot and he's just not ready to fight. Similar theme is continuing here, but just giving a sort of chance for Krishna to speak up. So who will read 2.1?
Can I read?
Yes, please, Jai Prakash Prabhuji.
Sanjaya Vacha. Tams tata kripaya vistam.
Tam tata
kripaya vistam.
Ashrupurna kulekshanam.
Ashrupurna kulekshanam.
Vishidantam idam vakyam.
Vishidantam idam vakyam.
Uvacha Madhusudana.
Uvacha Madhusudana.
Sanjaya said, seeing Arjuna full of compassion, his mind depressed, his eyes full of tears, Madhusudana, Krishna, spoke the following words.
Yeah, so this is a nice verse. So this verse actually tells us quite a few things. We'll just put in a nutshell. Tam tatha kripya vishtam. So 3 things are being explained of Arjuna, what has happened to his situation. Kripya avishtam. So kripya refers to compassion, Prabhupada writes, and avishtam refers to overwhelmed. So his heart is becoming very compassionate. He's overwhelmed with compassion. Number 1, Ashrupurna kulekshanam. So Ashrupurna akula ikshanam. Ikshanam refers to the eye. Ashru refers to the tears. So his eyes are full with tears. So you can just try to visualize what's happening to Arjuna while he's sitting on the Ratha. You can all go to Kurukshetra and look at Arjuna. These verses actually are like the video. We talk about video, but Shastra actually is like a video. If you read it with absorption, actually you can see the things in front of you very nicely. and Guru gives that power. So Ashrapurna Kuleksham, so his eyes are filled with tears. Vishidantam. Vishidantam is a similar word used in the last chapter as well. Lamenting. So his lamentation is described here. So three things are Krapyavistam, Ashrapurna Kuleksham. His eyes are filled with tears. His heart is overwhelmed with compassion, and he is lamenting. So idam vakyam uvacha Madhusudanaha, and he has presented his doubts to Krishna, and now Sanjay is saying, Madhusudan, Krishna is going to speak. What does Madhusudan mean? Madhusudan, Ari Sudan. So,
killer of demon Madhu.
Yeah, and what's the significance of that for Arjun?
Since he is in the battlefield, he's
Kill
asking
doubts.
no.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So he's in the battlefield and doubts. So please, as you have killed the demon Madhu, I have also a demon. What is my demon? Demon of doubt. We all have
my
doubts, isn't it? You want to say, should I go for Mangala Arati or should I not? Maybe skip today, maybe tomorrow.
Demon of Prabhu, a misunderstanding.
The demon of misunderstanding. Thank you, Mataji. So we have demons of doubts and misunderstanding, and it says that it stops us becoming a devotee. Because we have misunderstanding of Krishna consciousness. We think material world, generally, I'm not saying everyone, generally material world will give me happiness. Krishna consciousness is boring. That's a misunderstanding. Krishna consciousness gives us so much happiness, literally so much happiness. I heard in a lecture, some devotee was telling that we think that when we become devotee, we have to leave sense gratification. Actually, devotees are the most sense gratifier persons, because our senses are always engaged in Krishna service, and that's how we get so much delight. You see, devotees are always smiling, they're happy. The other people are not happy. They're trying to be happy by so many movies and dresses and cars and whatnot. Actually, devotees are happy. You talk about eating, we eat the best. We talk about happiness, even external possessions. Devotees are the richest people actually from all the perspectives. So these are but we have a doubt. No, Krishna consciousness is, we'll do later. We'll not do it now. Don't become so serious, come on, let's go for a movie. Let's go for a cricket match or something like that. So we actually don't understand. So Krishna is referred with this Madhusudan. Please kill my demon of doubt and misunderstanding. So these references are very, very significant. Okay, let's move forward. Yeah, before I move forward, actually, I was reading Prabhupada's third quote. I really like it. I'll just read a few lines. Prabhupada writes in the very first line, and that refers to Prabhu's question, which we are coming soon. Material, compassion, lamentation, tears are all signs of ignorance of the real self. Now you remember 146, what Prabhupada says? Arjuna is such a nice person. He's fit to receive knowledge. Same Prabhupada, just after one verse, what he's saying? Material compassion, which is Krapyavistam. You see that the word relation, Prabhupada is writing exactly what is written in the verse. Lamentation, Vishidantam. Tears are Ashrapurna Kuleksham. What Prabhupada is saying are all signs of ignorance. Now Prabhupada didn't know that Arjuna is crying from the previous chapter. No. They are the signs of ignorance of the real self. Compassion for the eternal soul is self-realization. The word Madhusudan is significant in this verse. So compassion for the eternal soul is called self-realization. So at any other compassion, Prabhupada called you're trying to save a drowning man, but you jump into the river and you come out with the jacket of that man and you say, oh, I have saved the man, I have saved the man. Have you saved the man? You have just saved the jacket of the man. So similarly, he said, no matter how much you do for this body is temporary. So again, you have to do what you have to do for the body. You have to eat, you have to sleep, and you should be healthy and all those things. But at the same time, you cannot be overwhelmed just with the body. Everything for the body. What for the soul? Prabhupada gives, I think Bhakti Siddhanta Maharaj gives this example. Prabhupada used to tell many times, the bird in the cage. So old woman is feeding, not feeding the bird, just trying to wipe the cage. She's changing the cage. She's changing the cage from the iron cage to a gold cage, but a bird is dying. Similarly, we can give so many facilities to this body, but if the soul is dying inside, soul has no food means no spiritual devotional service, then the soul is dying inside. No matter what you do with the body, the bird is dying inside the cage. So we have to look after the bird. So up to an extent, looking after the body is important. And Shastra actually tells that you should not ignore. At the same time, we know it's temporary. But what we can achieve from this temporary body is eternal. So Prabhupada writes, it's ignorance to the real self. We'll explain that as we go forward. First point, Mahavasu Prabhu, for your question. Prabhupada will explain more points. Prabhupada has given very nicely. Okay, 2.2. Who has not read as yet? Jamati Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Okay. Shri Bhagavana Vacha.
Bhagavanu Vacha.
Kutastvam Kashmalam Idam.
Kutastva Kashmalam Idam.
Vishme Sampushtitam.
Vishame Samupushtitam.
Anaryajustam Asvargyam.
Anaryajustam Asvargyam.
Akirtam Karam Arjuna. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "My dear Arjuna, how have these impurities come upon you? They are not at all befitting a man who knows the value of life. They lead not to higher planets, but to infamy."
Yeah, so this is the first verse in Bhagavad Gita, full verse spoken by Krishna. So as we saw in the previous chapter, Krishna just spoke like 3 words, like the part of the verse. But this is the first verse in Bhagavad Gita where Arjun is being responded by Krishna. And initially, so far, you see, the relationship between Arjun and Krishna is a Sankhya, the friendly relationship. So far, Arjun has not become the disciple of Krishna, which we'll see in 2.7. So far, it's a friendly relationship. And friendly relationship, what has happened, as Vijay Mataji was saying earlier, he has opened his heart. So, sometimes you meet with your friend, you open your heart. Are yaar, aaj acha nahi lag raha hai. Today I'm not feeling so good. This happened and that happened. You just share your heart. And what your friend? Chalega yaar. It's all right. Come on, let's go. Huh? So sometimes we open our heart in a very casual way. So the response is also casual. Arjun has not yet formally submitted to Krishna. And you see, I think Priya Mataji also mentioned, he's listening. He's listening. He's not just giving advices. Even if someone has told us all these reasons and we had a different opinion, we'll just start blabbering straight away. Look at Krishna. He's so patient. Huh? So as Arjun spoke, Krishna is responding. And the word used here is pep talk. Pep talk means just a simple general instruction, generalized thing he's saying. So Krishna is just speaking 2 verses here. And he said, come on, you can do it. How come? Kutastva means how come? Kashmalam idam. Idam means these. Kashmalam means impurities have come upon you. Vishame samupasitam is such a dire time of need. Right? And then you're talking about all these things. And then he does 3 things again. As Arjun told in 2.1. Anarya. Arya means
Arya, who knows the value of life.
It's not Arya Samaji people, because Arya Samaji people are very, very different. So here Arya refers to one who knows spiritual values. They are called Arya. They know the Vedic culture, they know, and Arjun is aware of that. But Krishna is saying him, Anarya, you are Anarya means you are not knowing the value of life. Anarya justam aswargyam, and this will not lead to swargya. Like on a karma kanda level, if you see many people are wishing to go to Swargloka after life. They do activities nicely and eventually they want to go to Swargloka. But Krishna is saying this will not lead to even Swarga. And what else? It will lead to Akirti. Akirti means infamy. If you are a very great person and on the time of need you run away, what people will call you? A choker, isn't it? You're a best bowler, for example. I don't know many bowlers. Okay, whatever. Sachin Tendulkar is not a bowler, he's a batsman. Okay, the last, he's a bowler as well. Rupam Prabhu is saying something. Anyway, bowler or batsman, you have to hit, 6 on the last ball, and you say to your captain, oh, I can't hit. I'm just too scared of this opposite party bowler. So what your captain will say, come on, this is the point of the World Cup in front of you. The last ball, you have hit many 6 in the past. How come you're talking like this? Like Arjun is present, the war is completely scheduled. The shankhas are blown in the right moment when enemy is going to attack any moment. He's saying, I'm not going to fight. You're talking about all this. Even if you had to talk it, you should have talked earlier, not on the battlefield. If you run away from the battlefield now, what will happen? People will call you as a coward, not as a soft-hearted person. What Duryodhana is going to call Arjun? Just imagine if Arjun says, no, I'm not going to fight. Duryodhana will say, hey, look at the coward. Huh? So he's saying, Akirtim, this will lead to infamy. This will not even lead to Swargaloka. And this is an Arya. Now, Prabhupada writes a very nice purport, and he puts all the purport based on Sri Bhagwan Uvacha. Look at the first line of Prabhupada. Krishna and the Supreme Personality of Godhead are identical. Lord Krishna is referred to as Bhagwan throughout the Gita. I'll not read the whole thing. It's very nice. I'm sure you're reading it. Ishvara Parama Krishna 1 to 11. Vadanti Tattva Vidas Tattvam Yaj Jnanam Advayam. So all these verses Prabhupada has quoted just to Ete Chanskalavan 328. All these verses Prabhupada has quoted just on this one word, Sri Bhagwan Vacha. Huh? And the last Prabhupada has written a little line about this Anarijistama Sorgam Akirtim Karamarjun. So Prabhupada is focusing on this one word, Sri Bhagwan, whom Arjun is speaking with, Sri Bhagwan. Huh? Sri Bhagwan, because this is the first verse spoken by Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. So we can look at both things. I'm sure you are reading purports of Prabhupada before coming to class. If not, please read. It's very, very nice. Just read 10-15 verses every class before you come, and you'll get more benefit. And if I forget some points, you can please correct me. Okay, I'll go to the next one. 2.2. Who has not read as yet? Okay. Vijay Mataji, would you like to read?
2.3, right?
Klebyam ma samagama partha.
Klebyam ma samagama partha.
Naitattvai upapadyate.
Naitattvai upapadyate.
Kshudram hridaya dorbalyam.
Kshudram hridaya dorbalyam.
Tyaktyo vishtita parantapa.
Tyakto vitishta parantapa.
O son of Partha, do not yield to this degradation of impotence. It does not become you. Give up such petty weakness of heart and arise, O chastiser of the enemy.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji. So Klapyam ma is Partha. So Klapyam, and Prabhupada writes a translation as impotence. So eunuch. That's what it's called. So Arjun is a Kshatriya, and he says Kshatriya are very well aware of their reputation. You remember in Dhruva Maharaj's pastime, Suruchi said few words to Dhruva. Dhruva said, it's said in Bhagavatam, breathing like a snake breathes after getting hit by a stick who's not dead. So he was so much insulted. Narad Muni said, you are just a 5-year-old boy. Why are you feeling so much insult? Huh? You should just go back and play with your friends. He said, no, I am a Kshatriya. Huh? So Kshatriyas, if you say any words to Kshatriya, this is considered very, very bad. And what Lord is saying to Arjuna, Klapyam, you are yielding to this degrading impotence. Now calling Kshatriya impotent is a very, very degrading word. If you remember Shishupal in Rajasuya Yagya called Bhishma Pitama, he said, he's not a brahmachari, he's impotent. He called that word to Bhishma Pitama. So this is, and if you remember, Kshatriyas actually have multiple wives, and they will have, so many children, because they were considered very potent, is considered very masculine. So calling a Kshatriya as a klebya, as a eunuch, even to a normal person, it's very insulting. And Lord is calling Arjuna klebya maismakama partha. Partha, the son of Pratha, how come you are degrading to such an impotence? Huh? That means you are becoming coward here. And also our acharyas describe Krishna is also referring to Arjun in the Virat had become Brahmanalla. If you remember, for 1 year, he was Brahmanalla, he was eunuch for 1 year. So basically, Krishna is saying, you're still a eunuch? I thought the curse was over. So basically, he is, sometimes, you say to your friend who is sort of depressed and down, come on, you can do it. You are a pretty brave man. Or sometimes you say opposite thing, you fool. Sometimes, with love, you say, you fool. Someone who is very intelligent person, you call him a fool. He's like, what? I'm not a fool. And that sort of puts him up to do the job. So Krishna is feeling Arjuna is a little down, and I need to, just goad him up, just, bring him up to the level. So he's saying, Partha, this does not befit you. You cannot talk like that. As the example of, Sachin or someone else, being scared of getting the last ball of the World Cup. Shudram Hidayat Daulabalyam, your Hidayat is very Shudra, is becoming weak by these petty thoughts. Please give up. The Uttista means please get up. Parantapa, you are a chastiser of enemies. You have chastised many enemies, many big enemies. You have fought many battles. So Arjuna is not fighting the first battle. If you remember in Virat, Arjuna has already fought against all of them single-handedly, and he defeated all of them. So he has done many fights in the past, and he has fought with Karna as well, and others as well. So it's not the first time. So Krishna is just surprised, and it's also called a rhetorical question. Rhetorical question means when the answer is already implied. How come? How come is you should not. So two things Krishna is telling Arjuna. So don't become an impotent, and don't become Shudram Hridaya Daulbalyam. Don't give to your pretty weakness of your heart. So these two things are presented in the verse just so that Krishna is trying to bring Arjuna up on the line and saying, okay, come on, don't think all that, get up and fight. Tekto Uttista Parantapa. Uttista means get up. And you will use the same word in 441 or 42 as well. Krishna says to Arjuna, Uttista Bharata, please get up and fight. Now, coming back to Mahavasu's question earlier, Prabhuji was asking, first, Prabhupada writes, he's a very soft-hearted devotee. He's eligible to receive this knowledge about the self. And now Prabhupada, even the first verse he said, in the second verse he said, this is the sign of ignorance. So probably we have to understand this from two levels. So the level which Arjuna is talking from a bodily level. From that platform, whatever he said was correct and was applicable, is very useful. But if you talk about the spiritual platform, sometimes you have to do a hierarchy. Sometimes, what you have to do, you have to decide you will do a sinful activity or a pious activity. Many times we have to take a decision. So obviously a sane person, a wise person will go towards a pious activity. Now Arjun here is not having this moral choices. Moral choices means one choice is moral, one is immoral. Arjun is having an ethical choice. Ethical choice means both are valid choices, both are moral choices, but amongst the moral choices, which choice I have to take? So the level which he is speaking earlier is called the bodily level, which is perfectly fine. It's valid, it's useful, it's applicable. But when bodily platform has to be compared with the spiritual platform, which should take priority? Is spiritual platform. In Bhagavatam, it says in 6th canto, there are two types of dharmas, parodharma and aparadharma. Paradharma means the dharma of the soul, and aparadharma is dharma of the body. Suppose you have a body, your soul is currently sitting in a male body, you belong to a certain community, certain culture, certain family, some bodily identifications are there, some bodily good things are there, bad things are there. You follow that dharma as per your capacity, and that's fine. But when you have to follow your paradharma, then what priority you give to paradharma? The dharma of the soul. So your devotional service takes priority. And it says that's why if you follow your aparadharma in such a way which leads to paradharma, that's the best way. But sometimes if you cannot follow your aparadharma, means bodily dharma, you're trying your best, but still, you cannot satisfy everyone in the world, isn't it? No matter what you do for your family, for your loved ones, someone will be unsatisfied with you. Someone you will not be able to fulfill, although you don't want to. Sometimes you'll do some sin, like you're walking, you may step over an ant or other insect. You don't want to kill them, but you do that. And that's a sin, isn't it? As per Manusmriti, that's a sin. You have performed a sin. Reactions will come. So, but can you avoid it? Not really. You're breathing. Actually, you're killing bacteria. You're eating dahi. You're eating yogurt. Billions of bacteria, So there's karmic reaction, action going on constantly on a bodily platform. You just cannot avoid. You avoid as best as possible, but after that you cannot. And that's why Krishna says, Sarva dharmanu parityaja. You give up all the dharmas. So we try our best to follow aparadharma, to align our aparadharma with the paradharma, but many times gaps will be there. will be there. But if you only follow aparadharma and forget the paradharma, many times people, my family is very young, I have this problem, I have that problem, I cannot perform devotion, I can't come to temple, I can't chant, n number of rounds because I have so many problems. Then you are misaligning with paradharma. So you have to align aparadharma in such a way that paradharma takes priority, the soul things takes priority, but people do it other way. When I will have the time, then I will go to temple. It's the other way. You go to temple, when you have time, then you do the other things. Right? And as Devkinandan Prabhu always says, Krishna is the owner of Kal. When you serve Krishna, the Kal will work in favor of you. In terms of everything else will be aligned. So don't ignore your devotional service. And obviously, sometimes you have to balance it out. That's the other thing. But does it answer your question, Prabhu? So we are talking on a different platform. Arjun is talking on a bodily platform, which is appreciated. But now Krishna is talking on a very different platform, which is a spiritual platform. And that's where the differences are.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you very much, Prabhu.
He is ignorant. He's playing as ignorant. But on the bodily platform, he is well respected by Prabhupada. Prabhupada is appreciating him in so many purports. But here, the need of the time is to follow his spiritual dharma, which is to follow the instruction of Krishna, which is to fight. Radha Maharaj was telling in one class, in a very jovial way, he was saying, after listening whole Bhagavad Gita, Arjun actually did not understand too much Bhagavad Gita, but because he had so much faith in Krishna, he said, Krishna, whatever, Karishye Vachanam Tava, whatever you say, I will do it. So I understood Bhagavad Gita. I didn't understand Bhagavad. That's not the main point here. The main point is Karishye Vachanam Tava. That is very nice. So that's why similarly, he was saying we should follow our spiritual master. We understand his instruction. We don't understand his instruction. The Kurma Brahman, he's reading Bhagavad Gita upside down. So he's following the instruction. Chaitanya says, whether you follow it very nicely, you don't follow it, but you must follow the instruction of your spiritual master. That will be for your welfare, ultimate welfare. You're following imperfectly, still you follow. You have to do it. You're not literate. You cannot read Sanskrit verses. No problem. You still hold Bhagavad Gita. My Guru Maharaj said, read Bhagavad Gita. I'm reading Bhagavad Gita. Now, I don't read it, but I still realize the Bhagavad Gita because I'm following the instruction of my Guru. And this is where the differences are. The bodily platform and the spiritual platform. So bodily platform, very nice. Spiritual platform, you're ignorant. Go for higher platform when the time arises. Okay. Okay, let's move forward. Anyone else has any questions? So this is a very nice verse. Now, when Krishna said that, Arjun got a little provocated and he said, let's read what Arjun said. Who will read this verse 2.4? Now, Arjun will say another 5 verses. Very, very nice, actually. Again, speaking on a different platform.
I can read.
Yes, Mataji, please.
So the shloka?
Yes, Mataji.
Arjuna Vacha Katham Bhishmam Aham Sankhye
Katham Bhishmam Aham Sankhye
Dronam Cha Madhusudana
Dronam Cha Madhusudana
Ishubhi Pratiyotsami
Ishubhi Pratiyotsyami
Parajava Arisudana.
Ujarhav Arisudana.
Arjuna said, O killer of enemies, O killer of Madhu, how can I counteract with arrows in battle men like Bhishma and Drona who are worthy of my worship?
So basically, Krishna said in the previous verse, Tyakto Tishta Parantapa, get up and fight. So immediately he's responding, maybe I was not clear. Let me be very clear. Katham, how come Bhishmam Aham? Aham means me. Bhishma is my grandfather. So Katham Bhishma Aham Sankhya. Sankhya refers to battle. So in Sankhya, in battle, how I'm going to shoot arrows on Bhishma and Drona. Hey Madhusudan, how I'm going to do that? Will you ever shoot the arrows on Sandipani Muni, who is your guru, or Ugrasen, Maharaj Ugrasen, who is your grandfather? You are telling me to do it. And look at Bhishma. Now, previously he was talking in general. Now he's being specific to the names. You remember? So he's saying, how can I fight? Now he's saying specific name. And excuse me, he is Bhishma. He is my grandfather. He is Drona. And Ishubi means with arrows. Pratyosyami, counteracting with arrows. In Vedic culture, when elder person speaks, the duty of the younger ones are not to counteract them even with the words. Even if they say something wrong, even if they are angry at younger ones, what's the duty of the younger ones? To tolerate, to listen and follow. Even if you don't follow, at least listen. We don't even answer back to our father or grandfather. I'm sure all of us have done it. The kids these days, not sure about them, but we have done it. When our father will come in the room, we cannot even sit. If the father comes, I have to just get up. That's just the way it is. If I'm lying on the sofa, immediately, he'll get up. So what we speak of is speaking back to him. That was the culture, and that's what Arjun is saying. We should not even counteract their words. What we speak of counteracting their arrows, it should be with arrows. Patiosami, they are pujarha, they are worthy of worship. Like, obviously, we should worship our guru, we should worship our grandfather. So he's saying, pujarha Arisudana. Hey, Arisudan. Arisudan again, Madhusudan, Arisudan. Ari refers to Indrari Vyakulam Lokam. Ari refers to enemy. Sudan refers to, you are the killer of the enemy. Why are you engaging in killing of my grandfather and my teacher? Again, similar question Arjun is asking, is being giving specific names here, Bhishma and Drona. They are worthy of my worship. How can I counteract them with the arrows? Next verse, 2.5. This is very nice. Who will read that? Samit Prabhu, you want to read one verse?
Yes, Prabhuji. Gurun Hatvani hi Mahanubhavan.
Gurun Ahatva hi Mahanubhavan. It's a different meter.
Yes, Prabhu. Sorry, Prabhu.
Yes, okay.
Gurun Hatvani hi Mahanubhavan.
Gurun Ahatva hi Mahanubhavan.
Shreyo bhuktum bhashakyam api haloke.
Shreyo bhuktum bhaksham api haloke.
Okay.
Atvarth kamastum guru nihaiva.
Atvarth kamastu guru nihaiva.
Munjeya bhogan rudira paradigan.
Munjiye bhogan rudhir pradigdhan.
It would be better to live in this world by begging than to live at the cost of lives of great souls who are my teachers. Even though desiring worldly gain, they are superiors. If they are killed, everything we enjoy will be tainted with blood.
So Arjun again is sort of expanding his thoughts here. Similar theme. So Gurun Ahatva. So Hatva refers to the killing. Ahatva is not killing. So Gurun, he is saying Guru. Guru refers to not only the spiritual teacher, the superior self. So many times in Vedic culture, you'll see the word Guru is used even for the parents, and they are Guru. They are the first Guru. So they teach us so many things. And our spiritual master is also Guru. Elderly person also referred to as Guru. Gurun Hatvahi Mahanubhavan. They are Mahanubhav. They are very great souls. That's what Arjun is saying, right? So instead of killing them, to killing our elderly people who are Mahanubhavan, Shreya, the better path will be Bhoktum, to live for enjoyment. Here Bhoktum refers to live. Bhakshma, Bhakshma refers to the Bhik Mangna, to beg alms, to beg alms. Apiha loke, in this loka, for living, what is better? I would rather beg alms rather than to kill my Mahanubhavan Guru, to kill my elderly people. So this is what Arjun is saying. Hatvarth kamas to Guru nihaiva. Even if I receive the kingdom, for example, for my kama, for my desire, after killing, if I kill them, Bhujjiye bhogan, Rudir pradigdhan. Rudir refers to blood. Pradigdhan is tainted with blood. Even if I get the kingdom after killing them, the kingdom will be tainted with their blood. Sometimes you achieve something at a cost of spending a lot of money, energy, or sometimes even you have to give up a big cost to it, and you said it's not worth it. It's not worth it. I want that thing, but if I have to give up this cost, that's not worth it. So Arjun is basically saying, even if I get the kingdom, it will be tainted with their blood because it is based on killing of them who are my superiors. Now, we have to understand Arjun is soft-hearted person. He's being compassionate on that point of view. But one thing which our acharyas explain on this particular word, Mahanubhavan, Arjun is considering their gurus, which includes Bhishma Pitama and Dronacharya, as spoken in the previous verse, as Mahanubhavan, as a great souls. But actually it says, on a Karma Kandi level I'm talking, not on the special level, Karma Kandi level, they were not Mahanubhavan. And one incident they give of Draupadi, chastisement of the Draupadi. I will not go into the whole incident. Bhishma Pitama was there, and Draupadi asked him the question, if Yudhishthir has waged himself first, how can he wage anything else? Because if I lose myself, then all my possessions are already gone. So how can, logically, he can wage me? So Bhishma Pitama actually responded, what you are saying is very complex. So what you are saying at one stage is correct, because if he has lost himself, he has lost the right on anything he possesses, so he cannot wage you. At the same time, it says wife is always the property of the husband, always, in all the situations. So in that sense, your wage was valid. He said, what you are saying is very complex, so it's very hard to say what the dharma is. So Bhishma, it says by Prabhupada in Nectar of Instruction, he gives the example of Bhishma is following the Niyamagraha. Niyamagraha means you're following the Niyama for the sake of following it, not knowing what's the purpose of following the rule. The purpose of dharma is to protect, isn't it? And here a lady is getting disrobed in front of lakhs and millions of people, and you are getting into question and answer. He should have immediately stopped that. Whatever had happened was obviously very bad, but whatever was happening that time, Dronacharya was also sitting there, but he also sort of didn't say. They were the silent protesters, you can say. They didn't like it, but they silently accepted it. And it says monam sammati lakshanam. If some irreligious activity is happening and if I don't protest, it says monam means silence, is I'm accepting that. It's all right. So actually they had the authority to stop it, but they did not. So it says one of the incident, they were not Mahanubhavan anymore. And it says in Shastra, if Guru is not worthy of being the Guru, that can be rejected. An example given of Shukracharya and Bali Maharaj. So Bali Maharaj rejected his Guru because his Guru was telling things to Bali Maharaj, which was against the principle of devotional life. And Bali Maharaj followed the higher instruction. He rejected his Guru. Rejected Guru means Guru's instruction. So Arjun is thinking that way, although they had done so many inappropriate things, but still I consider them as Mahanubhavan. So actually Arjun is Mahanubhavan here. They are not. Let's move to the next one. Yes, Mataji? We'll do 2 more verses, Sumit Prabhu, and then we will stop. I will explain in 2 minutes.
न चेतद्विद्मा कतरन्न कार्यो
न चेतद्विद्मा कतरन्न कार्यो
यद्वा जयेमा यदि वा नो जयेयुः
यद्वा जयेम यदि वा नो जयेयुः
यानेव हत्वा न जिचेष्विषामास्
यानेव हत्वा न जिजीविषामस्
देव स्थिता प्रमुखे धातृराष्ट्रा
देव स्थिता प्रमुखे धातृराष्ट्राः.
Nor do we know which is better, conquering them or being conquered by them. If we kill the sons of Dhritarashtra, we should not care to live. Yet they are now standing before us on the battlefield.
Yeah, so again he's going further and further. He's saying, "Na chaidat with mahakatarno gariyo." Gariyo refers to what is better, like Shreya. So Shreya, what he has used earlier. So Gariya is also what is better. So I do not know what is better for me. Yadva jayem, should I win over them? Yadvano jayayu, or they should win over me. So he's feeling confused, and that's why 2.6 is called indecisiveness. So now when you are in a battlefield, I suppose a battlefield a little hard to say, a cricket field, for example, or two teams are in front of each other. Rupam Prabhu is smiling. You're going to, have a match with someone. So the first thing when you're ready to match, when you're ready to start the match, you ask, should I win or should you win? What sort of question will that be? You are here in the match to win the match, right? So you should not be indecisive in the beginning of the match. The match hasn't even started. Yadva jayem, yadvano jayayu. Should I get win or should let them win over us? Yane bhatva na jijiv. And if I kill them, so he's saying the first point, yadva jayem. So if I get victory over them, how would I get victory over them? By killing them, right? So if I kill them, yane bhatva, if I kill them, na jijiv vishamas, I do not care to live anymore. So he actually loves his relatives so much. He's saying, if I kill them, I will not care to live anymore. Na jiji vishamas, I will not have desire to live anymore. Now, who has who will be killed? They means Dhritarashtra, the sons of Dhritarashtra. They are actually avasthita, they are situated here. And if I kill them, I will not care to live. So he's completely indecisive by this stage. Let's see what he says in 2.7, and then we'll stop. 2.7 is considered very important verse by our acharyas. There's lots of points here, lots of commentaries here, and this is considered the important verse because this is where he goes formally to Krishna and says, I am your disciple, please instruct me. And Prabhupada purport is very beautiful here. Okay, Rasan and Prabhuji has a question.
Not a question, Prabhu. Can I read this verse?
Hare Krishna, Rasan.
Can you hear us, Prabhu?
Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Not a question, Prabhu. Can I read this verse?
Vinay Prabhuji, can you put yourself on the mute? Thank you, Prabhu. Yes, Mataji, please.
Can I read, Prabhu?
Yes, Mataji.
Karpanya dosho apahad
swabhavaha
Prithyami tvam dharma sambhuda
cetaha
Yashreyasya nishchitam bruhi tanme Shishyasteham shadimam tvam prapannam. Now I am confused about my duty and have lost all composure because of miserly weakness. In this condition, I am asking you to tell me for certain what is best for me. Now I am your disciple and a soul surrendered unto me. Please instruct unto you. Please instruct me.
Yeah, so this is a very nice verse. So he starts from Karpanya dosho. So Krishna was saying earlier, how come Shudram Hidra Daurbalyam? You got this pity, weakness of heart. So Arjun basically accepts what Krishna says. Yes, what you said is correct. Karpanya dosho apahasva bhava. So Karpanya, I am being krapana. Krapana in Hindi, you say krapan, miser person. So Prabhupada says you should not be a krapan. You should not be a miser. Now you're not talking about just a physical miserliness here. So we should become very big-hearted, a devotee thing. Vasudhaiva kutumbakam. This whole Vasudha is my kutumba, my family, and my duty is to take care of them. Again, in a very high platform. So, Karpanya dosha, my swabhava has become aphat. Aphat Prabhupada writes, being afflicted. My characteristics are being afflicted. By what? Karpanya dosha. Yes, I'm being miserly here. Prachami, and that is why, because I'm being miserly and he accepts it. And that's why I was saying earlier, first thing we need to accept that, we have a problem. Unless you accept the problem, then how would you resolve it? Saying, yes, I have a karpanya dosha. I have a dosha, fault of being miserliness here. That is why prachami tvam, I'm asking you. Why I'm asking you? Dharma, regarding dharma, I'm asking you. Samurcheta, my consciousness being mudha. Mudha means illusioned here. My consciousness being illusioned, by being bewildered. I cannot think very clearly what is my dharma. So I'm asking you, tvam. Yat Shreya, so you please tell me Yat Shreya, whatever is Shreya for me. So initially in the previous chapter, remember Arjun actually said, this is not Shreya for me. No, he said that, but now he's saying to his guru, actually you tell me what Shreya is. So that is also important. Many times we go to our guru and we tell what I want to do to the guru, rather than listening to the guru and saying, you tell me what is beneficial for me. I said, Guru Maharaj, actually, I'm thinking of going here and going there and doing this. And Guru Maharaj said, okay, all right. Guru will also not give instruction unless you surrender to Guru. Surrender in the sense, not only by getting a Diksha certificate. That's not the real surrender. The real surrender is you consider him your all well-wisher for all the time, and you give the reins of your life to his hand. He said, Guru Maharaj, you tell me what is greater for me. So Arjun is doing the very right thing here. Yat Shreya, Shya Nishchitam. Nishchit kar lo, make it a very certain thing. So don't put me in any more dilemma. Bruhitanme, please tell me. Shishyaste aham. So I have become your Shishya. Shadimam. Shadi means instruction. You give me instruction because I have become your disciple. Tvam prapana. I am taking your shelter. So two things in the last line are very important. So he's saying, start from the very last word, Tvam Prapannam, I am surrendered to you. first word of the last line, Shishyaste aham, I have become your disciple. So disciple should not first become disciple, then surrender to the later. It should happen. Surrender should be first and disciplic succession should come later. Many times we take the Diksha certificate just for the sake of taking. I'm also a disciple. I can also cook. I can go to the DT kitchen. But where is the surrender? So the main thing is the surrender. We should surrender to our Guru. And obviously, there's a big chapter. How do you surrender? Bhakti Vinod Thakur tells 6 ways of Sharanagati. It's a big part. But anyway, the point is we should surrender. Surrender means I am in your center. You tell me what's best for me, not the other way. There should not be. Maharishi Goswami Maharaj said we should only breathe when a spiritual master allows us to breathe. It's just one standard. Now, how many of us will think before breathing to ask our spiritual master, Guru Maharaj, can I breathe? No, obviously, he is going to say yes. No, there is no obviously here. There's no obviously here. That sort of surrender we should have to our spiritual master if you want to go back to Godhead in this lifetime. It says many times we are not lacking in instruction. Instructions are there. The books are there. Instructions are there. Guru Maharaj is there. But still we are struggling in sadhana. Why? There's no surrender. We have so much ego. I know what I'm doing. Guru Maharaj doesn't understand. He doesn't understand my situation. Acha. So we have very little surrender. And that's why if we surrender to our Guru fully, our Guru are fully potent, the process is fully potent, mantra is fully potent, we'll go back to Godhead. Not only we'll go back to Godhead within this lifetime, we will be situated in Jivan Mukta platform right now. Right now, there's nothing else needs to be changed in our life. Not our body, not our family, not our money situation, nothing, not our knowledge. How many verses we have learned in Bhakti Shastri? Nothing. Surrendered. So Arjun surrendered fully to Krishna, Tvam Prapannam. He became the disciple and he says, Shadhi Mam, you please instruct me. And initially he accepted his weaknesses. So we also have to accept our weaknesses. We should not be proud. Whatever our seniors, our Guru Maharaj tells us, please improve in this area. Are you telling me? No, he's my well-wisher. Or our senior devotees also sometimes tell us in a nice way, gives us some feedback. We should accept. If you are not clear, we should ask, Prabhuji, I don't understand. Can you please clarify? If you ask with a nice feeling, they can explain us better. And then they can tell us what is the Shreya for us. It says our Guru knows more than what we know about ourselves because he knows our soul. He knows our past, present, and future. He knows better. We know very, very little about ourselves. We think we know, but actually we don't know. So this verse is very nice, where Arjun formally takes shelter of Krishna. He says, I'm your disciple. And then so far the mood in Krishna and Arjun was Sankhya, the friendship. Now the mood is changed. Guru-disciple relationship starts from this particular verse. Now, because Arjun has given this Guru position to Krishna formally, then Krishna speaks in that way. And that is also one of the lessons. Unless someone gives us that position and we have adhikar on that, we should not instruct so many people very freely and very casually, because we don't know their situation. We are not their guru. We don't have that compassionate feeling. We're not so knowledgeable. Many times, people start giving advices very, very freely. It says the most freely available thing in the world which is available is the free advice. People give so many free advices because they think they are very eligible. First thing, we are not so eligible. And second thing, our relationship may not be there. And many times when we give these free advices, what happens? It backfires us. People start feeling, why are you interrupting? So that's not taken as assistance. That's taken as an interference in their life. So once they give this sort of backdoor, the reins for their problems, then only we should take their position, and only if we are eligible. Otherwise, we should say, Prabhu, your question is very nice. I don't know the answer as per Shastra. Let me go back. If you remember in Bhagavatam, when demigods went to Brahmaji with their problems, it had happened many times. So Brahmaji says, I also don't know the solution to your problem, especially in the 8th chapter, 8th canto actually, before Samudramantha. Brahmaji, he's the leader of demigods. He openly accepts, I don't know the solution of your problem. Let us go to Lord Vishnu and he will give us the solution. So many times we should not be shy in accepting, I don't know the solution. And that's the quality of a leader. Leader is always, no, I'm a leader, so I have to give some solutions, so I will give something. No. Brahmaji says, he's very, very big. He has 4 heads, 4 brains. His body is made up of intelligence. How much intelligence we have? Extremely tiny. That is also contaminated. Kali Yuga intelligence. And we think we are great to give advices to so many people, because I've been devotee, I've been for 20 years, I've been chanting, I know 5 shlokas. We become like a little Brahaspati. This verse is extremely important for a disciple, how to surrender to the Guru, how to take the instruction, and then how to follow. Okay, so I'll stop here. If anyone has any quick questions, I'll take. Otherwise, we can continue the questions of this topic next week. Yes, Pinaki Prabhuji.
This relates to verse 2.3, where Krishna calls Arjuna impotent.
Yeah.
We've seen in the previous chapter Arjuna giving all his reasons for not wanting to fight. But at any point, was there a fear factor with Arjuna which also prompted him not to take up arms?
Fear of sinful reactions?
No, just the fear of fighting against a strong enemy. So
He's not fearful. He's quite capable. He's Arjun. He's Gandhidhari Arjun. So he's not fearful. Like if a big man comes in front of me, I'll be fearful. But that's not the fear he's talking. He's talking fear of sinful reactions.
Okay.
So he's definitely very capable. And we'll see. He's very capable. And he's a devotee on top of that.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Prabhu.
No such physical fear in his heart at all.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you. Okay, so let's stop our discussion today. Just quick 2 minutes more thing. First thing is, so next class also will have online on Thursday, 28th of April, just because we have some services on 1st of May, Sunday, and then we'll continue our regular face-to-face. Except on 15th of May, again, there's Nasing Chaturdashi festival. So sometimes we'll prepone. I hope this timing is suitable for most of you. If not, Sumit Prabhu will post the recording. If you have any questions, please write it down and we can always answer next week. Just regarding the assignment, thank you everyone again for submitting it. Who have not, I'm sure you're working on it, so that's fine. Please submit it. So there are 2 assignments, just clarifying for the sake of everyone. One is chapter 1, because some devotees have submitted only 1 assignment, and I'm just thinking that they should not feel they have done the job. There are 2 assignments. One is of chapter 1. There are 11 questions which you have to answer. Now, please write in a doc file and leave the questions there. If you write answer 5 and answer 6, it's nice, but I have to refer to 2 documents when I'm checking. So please leave the question. You just have to paste it, then write your answers. You can write in a simple Word file. It doesn't have to be fancy at all. It's all okay. The essay has to be 750 words minimum, maximum 1000. So please, before submitting, you can check the word count in Word. That will be nice. And just keep it simple. I like simple things, and it's easy to read. The font can be 12. You don't have to leave so much gaps here and there. So it's just simple, easy to read. You can have coloring there. That's no problem at all. And if you could submit on time from next time onwards, that will be nice. It's the first time, I know. Some devotees are aware. Some devotees have personally contacted me, and that's absolutely okay. Because of their personal situations, they cannot submit on time. That's okay. But if you have any other questions regarding assignment, yeah, one more thing. Please put your name in the assignment file. Many devotees are saying assignment 1. Put your name. I'm saying Rupam Prabhu, for example. So you can say Rupam, your surname first, whatever. You can say that and say module 1, which is where we are, and chapter 1. Both assignments you can put just in one file. That's all right. Because otherwise I have to, search through 70 files. So it's difficult. So put your name first. Rupam Prabhu, Mahavasu Prabhu, whatever it is, and module 1, just what, and chapter 1, that's enough. So that way the naming is consistent and the assignments are also consistent. You can have extra things in your essay. That's absolutely fine. If you want, you can put diagrams. if that's what works for you, that's absolutely okay. And it's the first time, I understand. So what I was thinking, maybe by 30th of April, if we could do that, that would be nice. Obviously, one who have submitted, that's okay, but from next point onwards, we'll stick to the timelines. That will be good. Okay. Sumit Prabhu, anything else she wanted to say for the group's purpose?
I think, Prabhu, for now it's okay. You already mentioned about the classes being online on next week. Then on 8th, we'll have the class in North Sydney.
Yes.
Again, the following week, we'll have the class online, and then
Sumit Prabhu will keep publishing all these schedules. You don't have to remember, but next week is 28th, online class on Zoom Thursday, 7 to 9. Okay.
Yes.
So thank you so much, everyone. Have a good weekend, good long weekend again. We have 3 weeks consecutively in a long weekend, right? So please enjoy your Krishna conscious long weekend. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Gaur Prabhupada. Hare Hare.
Hare Hare Bol. Hare Krishna.